right, so we're going to go straight into Q&A. So if you guys can go ahead and start typing in questions. So we have a question that says, when change occurs and you only know the old methods, is there a danger in moving forward into the new place before you have clarity? That's a great question.
#no. There's a danger if you don't begin to learn the new methods. Listen, just like driving a car, you did not drive a car because you only knew how to walk. You learned how to drive the car. So if all you have are the old methods, then use them, but use them at the same time simultaneously as you're learning the new methods. Those are the rules of engagement. So if you get a promotion, learn what that promotion looks like. Learn not just what the job description is, but learn what the expectations are, and then begin to learn different models and methodologies, different ways of communication, different methods of leadership. Begin to invest in learning new practices, processes, and patterns. So no, don't stay still because I don't know how to do. That's okay. We all learn how to do. That's why we start ugly, right?
Right.
That's my opinion.
Awesome. This is from the chat. How can we maintain healthy boundaries with others, especially if these people are used to someone who almost always says yes? That's good.
Okay. John Maxwell has something, it's called Plan Ahead. But one of the lines in there is he says, allow time for acceptance. That's what the transition stages are. They're used to someone who always says yes, but you're not that someone. However, you can't come in with an iron fist like, no, you will do as I say. No, you won't have any staff. You won't have any staff, you won't have any friends. They'll be like, peace, I'm out. No, you have to give them time for acceptance, and you have to give you time for acceptance too, because maybe the person was saying yes to some good things. You can't just say no because they always said yes. So time for acceptance there, still knowing your boundaries and making an informed decision. If yes is not feasible, yes is just not feasible. And you can try to share that information with them. Hopefully they'll get it because you're doing time for acceptance. During that time, they're learning how to trust you, learning how to trust your character, your leadership. There'll be times that you explain to them, and that's okay because they feel heard. And there'll be times that you have to just make a decision based on the responsibility and the role that you're in. That comes with promotion and visibility.
Awesome.
Sharyn, did you have, I don't want to answer.
No, I was actually thinking that you would provide a great answer to that, because I think you put it much more eloquently than I think I would have been able to break that down. But when I read the question, I will say, when it comes to boundaries, I think whenever we completely center how other people are going to receive us when it comes to creating those boundaries, that's like the opposite of having boundaries.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think that's something important to consider when it comes to that, is, like you touched on, are we letting that fear of what people are going to say or think navigate what we know is right or wrong, or things we shouldn't be expending energy on, or what have you. So that was my first thought.
Yeah, that's so good that you said that, because what's the point of the boundary if you're already reconsidering the boundary before you even issue it?
It's never moving. That's not a boundary. Yeah,
it's a never moving. Well, it's constantly moving a boundary, which is not a boundary at all. So awesome.
I love that.
How do you tackle self-care in an environment that is not supportive of your self-care needs?
I think that's where we have to, on the opposite end, how we just talked about the boundaries and how, boundary itself is, is kind of set. I think when it comes to our self-care, we do have to have that flexibility based on our dynamic changing needs and the changes in our environment. And so I'm that person that I have to work on constantly reevaluating my own environment, what I need, what my family needs, what, all these moving pieces, instead of approaching it from a rigid perspective of, no, this is my regimen. So I think it starts with changing that mindset of being flexible and getting creative with what can I do in this environment? What do I need to prioritize? What is the end goal for me, and how can I still achieve that end goal, even if this environment doesn't allow me to do, maybe what I'm used to. So I think I can answer that question better if I had a little more information about what that means, the environment and it not being conducive to your self-care. But I think that's where just being flexible, being dynamic, being creative, and really thinking, what's the outcome that I want? And changing how am I going to get there based on all of those moving pieces.
Yes, awesome. LaSharon, anything to add?
Well, I was just thinking, when she said she would need to know a little more, I was thinking because at your workplace, you may be wanting to eat healthier, but it may be a place that's not the easiest, or your family gatherings, that's not the easiest. Or, for lack of a better word, if your home environment is kind of dysfunctional and you know that, but everyone else doesn't know that yet, you probably have to do that incrementally and find out. And so that's when she was saying that she knew more about it, I was thinking that would allow you to give a more pinpointed answer, and you could be more specific, like with some tips if you had more information. So that's all I was thinking.
I think though, since you brought that up though too, something to consider is in those circumstances and in those seasons to give ourselves grace and to know that we are also graced by God in whatever season that we are in. And knowing that, when it comes to that and giving our self-care to God, and sometimes it's, hey, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish this, or, I'm feeling like I need that rest and I don't have time for it, or, like you're saying, my healthy eating, I can't do it because of my work environment. I think that's where grace comes in, and we have to make sure that's a part of how we're approaching our self-care as well.
Awesome.
I love that. One more thing on that, what you just said about the grace and the way that you one of the veterans is, if you are really beating yourself down, then that's not about self-care.
Right.
One of those positioning things. That's not about self-care. If you're beating yourself down, then the first step, self-care, I want to encourage you to get to is accepted into the love and grace and perfect love, so yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Crystal.
Yes, no. I think we have time for one more question. There's some good questions in here. It's hard to pick. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. How can we draw the line between maintaining self-care and self-discipline and just being overall selfish? So again, how do we draw the line between maintaining self-care and self-discipline and just being selfish?
Yeah. I don't know about the self-care, but if you're looking at somebody with animosity, contempt, and they on my nerve while they bothering me, that may be a little more in the selfish zone. You probably need some self-care, but Dr. Lauren, you're the guru on self-care.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I kind of like the sound broke up for a second, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna start talking if I'm talking over somebody. I think there's a theme here. I think that comes back to our mindset as well, because I feel like it is honestly rare for us as women to genuinely be coming from a place of selfishness, more so than we have been programmed to think that nourishing ourselves is selfish, is like innately selfish. So I think I would first go back to that and say, is this truly selfish? You might even need to ask your therapist, because I had to ask my therapist this question. Like, am I crazy? Or is this what's happening, to get some better perspective? So I think you have to kind of dial it back and say, is what I'm doing selfish, or where's this guilt coming from? Why am I feeling shameful for taking care of myself? And then if it makes you feel better and makes you have a better realization of the importance of your self-care, say, what is the end product of me taking this time? Does this mean I'm going to have more clarity, more energy, more strength in my body, more longevity in my life to be here for my family? And if it's helpful for you to frame it that way, sometimes, that's what you have to do to say, you know what, me actually taking this time away from my children to take a walk without them, or go visit my girlfriends, or whatever the case may be, get that therapy session, see the doctor, those things are going to actually benefit the people that I love and care about and that I serve, work with, and so forth.
That's so good. And I think something as women, sometimes we do have that guilt, whether it's I'm leaving the office too early, or I'm not spending enough time with my husband, I'm not spending my time with kids, and you can feel a sense of guilt, especially if everybody else is still at work and then you're rolling out at 5 and they're looking at you all crazy walking out the door. Sometimes you do have that sense of, man, should I be doing this or not? So
I did it yesterday because, I had the time where my husband was, he had our son, and I chose to work the whole time. I didn't really do anything for myself during that time when I was kind of hands-free. So I think, just keeping that in mind, and again, giving ourselves grace and be like, no, you don't have to earn taking care of yourself and being healthy. Like, you are worthy of that, innately, and a lot of good comes from that.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are wrapping up our self-care and self-discipline. If we can all give a virtual hug, high five to Dr. Lauren Collins and Sharyn Combs. If you guys can also...